My name is Glen Hayward, the proud owner of Good Works Auto Repair in sunny Tempe, Arizona. And today I got a couple of great disaster stories here for you. We'll talk about your heating and air conditioning components here in your car. And I'm going to show you what can happen over a period of time if things aren't looked after properly and neglect sets in. So I'm going to start with this radiator right here. Now this radiator came out of a van. And as you can see, there's bird feathers and all kinds of stuff gathered into the fins of this radiator. So you've got debris coming off the road, hitting the radiator, and it starts to plug up these little fins here. Well, these fins have to have air flowing through them for two reasons. One, in front of this, there's what they call the air conditioning condenser. The condenser also gets cooled by the cooling fans. So when this gets plugged up, it doesn't allow the amount of air to flow through to cool these fins, to cool the coolant, and also to keep your condenser cool. Why is the condenser important? Well, when it's hot outside, your condenser depends on airflow through there to cool the hot refrigerant that goes through it to make it cool once it gets inside of your car. So these two things are very related. When this gets plugged up, the airflow gets reduced, then the condenser starts getting reduction, your temperatures go up in your car, you're not getting the kind of air conditioning that you would like to have. This also makes the pressures go higher in your air conditioning system. Now we're going to go to these other two items right here. These are identical parts out of a Ford Transit van, and I will tell you the truth about this. This is where the cool refrigerant runs through these tubes right here, goes through these, and then the fan blows the cool air into your vehicle, whether it's a van, a truck, a car, whatever you have. And I want to show you over a period of time what happened to this one. This one got so clogged up that it began to leak internally, and you can see the refrigerant started to leak through here. So now the refrigerant was reduced, and of course the vehicle started not to overheat, but it got hot inside because it could no longer work. Now this is an identical one. It came in just days later. These were both from a hotel here locally in Tempe. And I'm going to start showing you how thick the dirt, the dust, the debris. I couldn't make this up if I wanted to, but I'm going to show you how thick this is now. Can you imagine air trying to travel through here and keep the passengers inside of this van cool? No, it's virtually impossible. So this thing was choking off the airflow inside of the van, and consequently the passengers were very uncomfortable because they were not getting cooled the way they needed to. And so what happened again is this thing started to leak, and the depletion of the refrigerant inside of the system that flows through these tubes and consequently through this evaporator here does not allow for the passengers inside the occupants to keep cool. So what can you do about that? Well, a good shop will do an inspection on here, and if you say, hey, you know what, I don't think my rear cooling is working in my van as well as it should, we can take off a couple panels, and before this happens and it starts leaking and having a really serious problem with the air conditioning system, we can clean these things out. We can blow them out with air. We can also use, some kind of detergents here and scrub these things out and allow that air to flow through there, which is going to keep your car cooler. Now you also have one of these in the dashboard of your car, which is also an evaporator. So for vehicles that only have air conditioning that goes through the front and then flows to the rear through the ducting work, these can also get plugged in a car. So what you have inside the front of every car is what they call a cabin air filter. That filtrates before that dirt and debris has a chance to get in here and plug this up. The difference in the vans is that none of them, I've never seen a van yet to this day that has a filter that keeps this from happening. So this needs to get checked probably every couple of years, depending on how much dirt and exposure your vehicle has to what might just plug this thing up. Now this is a hotel van, so you got people in their luggage going in and out and the doors opening and closing. So this is inevitable, but it is evitable if you care to have it cleaned out. So the cost of this, rather than thousands of dollars for having to replace all of this, all these components, and recharge the system, you can probably have this thing cleaned out for about $150 to $200 and avoid that from happening. So I appreciate your time today. And if your air conditioning system isn't working properly, go see a professional like the professionals here at Good Works Auto Repair and have the systems checked and find out why.